Good afternoon. I'm sending this out to members of Trinity Cathedral, really anybody who might get this. Most of you know who I am. In case you get this and you don't, my name is Dean Owens, and I'm the Dean of Trinity Cathedral in Cleveland, Ohio. Obviously, I'm not at the cathedral right now. I'm at my home, observing what a whole lot of us are doing, which is working from home and navigating this new time the best that we can. So I thought I'd do a little bit more than just sending my weekly Dean's Corner, which is a written blog. I'm certainly going to continue to do that. But this time is leading us to try lots of different ways of communicating. And so here we are. I'm using my phone. I'm talking to you from home. My children are here. They're, of course, home from school. One is outside, one is in the other room. So if someone comes in, don't be too surprised by it. I mainly want to begin this to talk to you directly. Use this chance to say hello and to let you know that I am holding each and every one of you in my prayers. This is such a distinct time. It's obviously nothing I've been through in my lifetime, and most of us, I think, would say the same thing. There's clearly not a playbook. We're all figuring it out, and we're taking care of one another as we do it. I want to start by saying just a couple of things about what we're doing at the cathedral to keep the places and everyone here safe and healthy. And then I'm going to take a few minutes to reflect a little bit on where we are and some of the readings I came across in my daily prayers, mostly just to spend a little bit of time with you. To let you know, with the cathedral, of course, this past Sunday and for the next few weeks and perhaps beyond that, we're going to be offering Sunday worship at 10 a.m. Streaming. It's on Facebook Live. It's also on the front page of our website. So I hope you'll continue to participate in that. And when you do, let us know that you're there and let us know how it works, because we want to continue to talk to you and be a part of it that way. The cathedral itself, we've moved to having only virtual meetings. We're asking staff who only have to be there to complete their work are doing it from the cathedral. The rest of us are doing it from home, and we're not having ministry meetings. Everything is being done virtually right now. And the reason is that, the same reason I'm sure you're hearing in a lot of places, is that we want to honor the desire to prevent the transmission of COVID-19, anything that we can do to prevent that, not just for our own health and the people of our church, our staff, but really for anybody we then come into contact with. We know that taking care of the wider community means preventing any transmission that we possibly can. And we know that we're particularly in a time of acute monitoring that. And we want to make sure that we do everything we can. And that's why we're doing everything virtually. If you're leading a meeting, if the church is not closed, as in the church, the people who are the church, the people of the cathedral, the staff of the cathedral, we are still working. There's an incredible lot of work and ministry to do, and we're still at it. So if you're helping to lead a ministry and you want to have a meeting, let us know, let me know, let Doreen Hughes know, so that we can set you up with some of our conference tools. There'll be plenty more to talk about as the days and weeks go by, of course. But mainly I want to take a moment to reflect on beginning the new normal. It's an evolving normal. But one thing that I keep hearing, and I've said it, sometimes we just need humor whenever we can get it. And there have been more than a few times where we've been trying to figure out something new, and I've had to say, it's my first pandemic. So I don't quite know how to deal with it. And we're taking it one thing at a time. And reality, it's the first time any one of us has been through this. We have to look to history of 102 years ago before we go to anything quite comparable. And it's certainly something we in our world today, and we have a pattern of living, especially if that we've just been used to living a certain way, and many of us been used to a certain level of convenience, hopefully some degree of prosperity, certainly consistency of our patterns of life, whatever that looks like. Suddenly, about a week ago, came to a dramatic halt. I guess the word disruption is a lot better. I like the word disruption. It says what's going on, but it also kind of hopes that it will return to normal, but it'll be a changed normal. But as I go through this, and by all means, there's a lot that we're feeling. There's a lot of reasons for anxiety. There's a lot of extra stress. There's a whole lot of uncertainty. There's uncertainty about health. There's uncertainty about financial security. There's uncertainty about what are our cities, what is our neighborhood, what are our neighborhoods, what is our world going to look like for the next few weeks and months? What's going to look like after that? This great big chasm of uncertainty. How on earth do we get through that? Yesterday morning, as I was doing praying the daily office, which is a part of my practice, the readings were readings that they're going to be familiar to just about all of us. They were certainly familiar to me, but they were readings that reminded me that we have been here before. Maybe not we in this lifetime, but to be the people of God means to participate in a whole story that goes far back beyond when we were here. We began by reading the Psalm. I read the Psalm, Psalm 79. Which is the story of God walking with the people beside the Red Sea, through the parted waters of the Red Sea, telling the story of God walking with the people of Israel through the wilderness, feeding them for years and years, but above all, leading them out of a time of terrible trial and hardship, through a long time of searching in the wilderness, but being with them the whole time. And if that wasn't quite enough, the reading for the Old Testament reading for that morning was from Genesis. And it was Joseph revealing himself to his brothers. This was in the time of famine. And Joseph who they had cast aside. Joseph had risen in Pharaoh's court, to having a place of great power, to being the person who, because of his dreams and his ability, was able to help to preserve the lives of thousands and thousands of people who would have died, who would have starved in the midst of that famine. And I couldn't help but notice that, because there Joseph was opening his heart to his brothers, saying that God has sent me to take care of you, to preserve you as we move into a period of lean years, a period in that case of famine. He said, God sent me before you to preserve life. God sent me before you to preserve life. That gives me a lot of comfort right now, because I don't know what the world holds, but I trust that God is with us. And I trust that God is with us to preserve life, to bring healing and wholeness, even in the midst of great uncertainty. And it helps me to know that we as a people, not just those of us who have been around for however many years I've been around, that we as a people are connected to a much deeper story. And that's why we come together. That's why we are the faith community that we are. That's why we are the larger family in God that we are. Because we know that there are stories that go so much deeper than the lives that we know, than the everyday lives that we know. And yet those stories give meaning to who we are and where we are today. And we can look back over our shoulders the times that we thought were a little bit more certain, but maybe they weren't. But at the same time, we can see that God was with us, preserving our life, guiding us, connecting us to our grandparents in faith over all these many centuries. This story of our life in God is so much bigger than today, but today certainly connects us to it. So I invite you, as we go by, this is day 2 of our time at home with our children, at least day 2 when they would otherwise be in school. I invite you to think about ways that we see God preserving life, even in times of fear and uncertainty. And above all, I want us, whether we're a part of Trinity Cathedral, whether we're a part of the city of Cleveland, or wherever you are, wherever you might be watching this meditation from, I want you to continue to hold your loved ones in prayer. Hold me in prayer, hold this church in prayer. Invite God into the midst of all of this. Help us to be preservers of life. Celebrate those who, at risk to themselves, seek and work to preserve and maintain life. Hold one another in your prayers and know that God is present in the midst of this. I want to close with a meditation adapted from the New Zealand Book of Common Prayer. God of the present moment, God who in Jesus stills the storm and soothes the frantic heart, bring hope and courage to all who wait or work in uncertainty. Bring hope that you will make them the equal of whatever lies ahead. Bring them courage to endure what cannot be avoided, for your will is health and wholeness. You are God, and we need you. Amen.